What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Filip Latocha. Today, we're going to recap the JP Morgan Corporate Challenge Chicago edition. Some of the good things, bad things, and things that are a little controversial for me personally. So, before we get into it, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're already subscribed, watching content, thanks so much. Love you guys a lot. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Strava for all sorts of other updates and things like that. So, without further ado, let's begin. The JP Morgan Corporate Challenge. This is my race on the 16th of May, and it's basically a 3.5 mile loop across the various parts of the city of Chicago. And basically, the only real requirements for this race is that you've qualified or signed up under your company that you work for within the Chicagoland area or suburbs or something like that. And I guess they pay some fees and they pay some fundraiser money and things like that and donate to some charities, and then that company is able to participate in the race overall, right? So in this case, this will be my third corporate challenge ever, the second time with this particular company, of course. You guys probably already know from context clues what aviation company I work for and whatnot. But yeah, basically just running the second time around to trying to defend my title as the fastest United runner that is basically on this team. And yeah, it was just it was a good day overall, but there was a couple of things that kind of are causing issues as of right now. Sort of. I'm not making a big deal about them. I know I've talked to organizers and things like that, but it's just things that moving forward I'll have to be, I guess, more conscious of, or just try to find better solutions to. So anyways, we'll start with the good, right? I was basically racing, I can't even find them. I was in the Adios Pro 3. It's basically going to be one of my last races in this particular pair, as we're going to discuss in a different video when we get there. The shoes are in pretty bad shape at about 200 miles, so we will have that review discussing the shoes at this stage of the game. But I did opt into running those because, one, the shoe is very fast, of course. Two, I wanted to continue putting some miles on the shoe. I like it as a shorter to longer distance running shoe that's got that, I would say, range of mileage that I can experiment with. And then three, of course, just it's coming to its last grips as a decent race day shoe, so I wanted to give it one last hurrah in this particular pair. And it was a shoe that, of course, I trust and have used since at least March of this year for a few other various races and training and things like that. So that was the shoe I opted in for. And the whole day, I guess, started pretty well, right? You know, I wrap up my day at work on Thursday night, and instead of working from the office like I probably should have, which would have been a good idea, I was working from home here, and then I drove 90 minutes into the city, which was quite ridiculous. But, you know, I found my parking, got it all sorted out. The lady came out with me to film, to help do some support stuff on my end. And, yeah, I guess my only real problems here was, there wasn't a lot of porta potties at the actual corporate challenge event, venue area, which made, you know, using your last minute pit stops a real issue, especially because the waves were divided between red waves, a green wave, and a blue walking wave, right? So red usually assumes you're playing to race to do really well or race to win kind of a situation. And that's what I've got. That's my bib here, 931. This is going to be important later, right? And essentially, just the problem with the porta potties is that when I had to start my race, I had to pee really bad. And again, this is some trouble that always happens whenever I start my racing, and I'm you know, on some pre-workout, and it's a diuretic, and I need to flush all the fluids out of my system, is that I just have to pee really bad before the start of races, and I have to time it exactly, or it's gonna end up being pretty bad, right? But in this case, I managed to use the washroom a few minutes earlier, and it wasn't a big deal. I still had to pee later on, but it wasn't nearly as bad as it would have been if I'd you know, left it entirely to the last minute. So whatever. Moving on, the race begins, and the strategy here is following what basically I've been spending the last month and a half kind of figuring out, which is more of my running form technique, right? The name of the game was, yeah, let's have a good race, but let's be super conscious of running technique and see how this last couple of months, last couple of weeks of being conscious of how my feet are landing on the ground is paying off, right? So, because that's been the big story, was trying to get my running form a lot more efficient. And again, it's a 3.5 mile race. Like, even if I ran with my current existing running form, it wouldn't have made a huge difference. But that being said, I just wanted to start practicing this as we get into the bigger races, like the Soldier Field 10 miler or the Chicago 13.1 on my calendar so far. So like when those races start showing up, I have the form in a better position. Not totally locked down. I don't think it's going to be locked down for a little while still. But the point there is I just wanted to see like if that efficiency in like a slightly above 5K race would be noticeable. So the point here, first mile in, I keep it sort of easy, but I'm also sort of flying because in these kind of corporate challenge style events, we're dealing with not like your runner who's trying to race to win, right? We're dealing with like corporate people who sometimes think they're faster than they really are, okay? And believe me, I'm like totally preaching not only at the people I was racing with, but I'm probably also preaching at myself here, thinking that I could probably go out guns blazing and like try to win this thing. But anyways, I digress from jokes aside. The point there was I knew just keep calm, keep it easy. There's going to be people who will flush out of our lead pack when the gun goes off because some people either will just go out way too hard and start easing off the pace a little bit. Some people are like definitely supposed to be there because they are that fast. And some people have no idea what they're doing in the red wave. Like if they're walking right away, they have no idea. Okay, so first mile in, I think I ran like a 6:10 or something a little bit faster than that. So, you know, the pace is pretty simple. It's pretty easy. I'm not feeling rushed. I'm not feeling cooked in any sort of way. I'm like conscious of how many steps per minute I'm doing at this point. I'm also conscious of trying to get my heel to strike the ground a little bit more. Not like in a heel strike way where it's like overextended and the heel is the first thing striking, but more of like my foot is landing. Okay, let's get the heel to kind of hit the ground and let's see if we can roll the foot that way, right? And as we get into like mile 2, which is now like 6:20 pace, so I'm kind of slowing down just slightly because, you know, I'm getting into a rhythm at this point. I'm noticing that my current running form, the one that I've been using for like the last 3-4 years, it keeps me steady with the group that I'm running with. But once I start changing and adding more of that heel kind of strike to the ground and I get that more roll, I see subtle like centimeters of movement towards people I'm chasing. So in a way, like my normal running form efficiency gets better, and as a result, I think I'm catching people doing less work with this better running form, even in a shorter distance like a 5K. And yeah, you would think that like in a 5K, like centimeters matter because of how short the distance overall is. And I think that would be true. And to that point, like whenever I was conscious of the running form or not like trying to dodge people or, you know, getting distracted by people cheering on the course or anything like that, the form is effective if what I'm doing is correct, right? Now there might be like subtle things that I'm doing well with the form, but it might not be like the form I need for marathon running yet. And we have months to still get that prepared. I have like the 10 miler race, I have a 13.1 where I'll be able to utilize that running form and see if I can start testing my efficiency. Like that's what that's for. The 3.5 mile race is like one thing for itself, right? So I finished the race in about 22 minutes and 32 seconds on my watch, but I did start like 10 seconds late overall because, you know, you're just kind of like in the middle of the pack, the gun goes off, everybody's kind of like walking to the start, and then you kind of start the thing. So I started my watch a little bit early is kind of what happened here, okay? And as a result, of that, I don't have actually an official time because I crossed the finish line with the bib, and as I looked at my results for the corporate challenge just to see if like how I stacked against my own company, it turns out that like my bib apparently wasn't like registering on any of the time markers at any point during the race, which it's a real shame because I did end up emailing the organizers of the race to say, hey, like, hey, what gives, right? Like, this is my bib number, this is my registration, this is the company I work with, this is the time I had on my watch, and I proved it on like both Strava, Apple Fitness. And I said, just can you guys like manually add me to this, you know, to your stats for the race, because I drove like 90 minutes, I spent the money to race, I wanted to attempt to win the race, of course, but like also I wanted to do really well with my company, and I want my results to kind of like show with the team, right, that that's faster team will kind of like move the average up of our overall company. So that's those are some of the things like I addressed in the email, right? And I guess at this point we just wait and see if they can like add me as a manual entry, because I don't know why my bib wasn't working. Like I'm looking at it, and like again, the RFID chips on the bib don't look bent. They are on the bib too. They don't look like they're in any sort of beaten up condition or anything like that. So I would suspect that the bib is working just fine. Just for some whatever reason, it was not like activating on the time mats during the race, and I don't have an official time for this yet. So I mean, if you're working for like the JP Morgan Corporate Challenge, or like I sent you guys an email, so let me know what we can do here, because I am kind of bummed that my time doesn't register. And like, if my time registers, it's not going to be like a night and day difference. I did look at my company's results, and I would like probably have a second place time at this point. There was somebody who ran like 20 minutes and change, and I ran like 22 minutes and 33 seconds this time around. So I wouldn't have had my company's fastest time, but like it would still be nice to like have a time on the board, you know what I mean? So overall, the race concept is really cool. Having a Thursday night race is always just fun. It's a great way to kind of start the summer for at least myself when it comes to this crazy race schedule. So yeah, it'll be my third ever corporate challenge, second time with this company. And I look forward to doing a few more of them, but for now, it's time to get into some more distance racing fitness. So in this case, I'm going to have the Metaspeed Sky Plus kind of be my shoe of choice for the 10 miler, for the Chicago 13.1, maybe even the Lincoln Park Zoo 10K, because those three races are going to be like basically back to back to back. So the next 3 weekends are going to be insane at this point. So this is just kind of the beginning, but again, had a good time for this race, learned some really good things about my running form. Am a little bit salty about my time not currently being registered. Hopefully there's a system glitch and something fixes in the background, but yeah, we'll just kind of leave it at that for now. So thanks again for watching this race review, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.